Well, you guys have enjoyed our last two videos on the TV-14 moments that would never air in WWE today. So we're back with even more crazier moments that will surely leave you shocked. With Triple H now getting even more creative control, unfortunately we won't get those intriguing but sometimes cringy segments that were close to Vince's heart. However, we can't really blame Vince as those segments were pulling in thousands of viewers every single week. If it wasn't for the PG rating, who knows what segments we'd see on our television. So today, let's check out even more TV-14 moments from the past that WWE can't even think of replicating today. Let's get into it. Fat-shaming Mickie James. Before WWE began giving the much-needed focus on the women's division in 2014, it wasted a lot of talented female professional wrestlers in terrible segments. Sadly, Mickie James was one of those performers. Mickie James is widely regarded as one of the finest female superstars in the history of the company, and to see her in segments in which she was fat-shamed felt wrong on so many levels. In late 2009, Mickie James was in a feud with the team of Michelle McCool and Layla, also known as Laycool, in SmackDown. Instead of letting Mickie and Michelle have great matches for the Women's Championship, Vince thought that the feud would be much better if they brought up Mickie's weight in it. This didn't feel inspiring at all. In fact, it felt downright degrading, and I can't even imagine how Mickie must have felt back then. To make matters even worse, Laycool began referring to Mickie as Piggy James. Sounds fun, right? Hell no. Michelle and Layla even force-fed Mickie a pig-shaped cake on an episode of SmackDown, and poor Mickie could do nothing but cry during segments like these. During the end of their feud, Layla even began to dress up in a pig's costume and even called herself Piggy James to further mock Mickie. The women's division was at its lowest point during that time, and WWE, with all of its anti-bullying campaign, can't afford to show more segments that are related to fat-shaming someone. Stone Cold Steve Austin gets crucified. There are many reasons why WWE has always preferred the use of the word sports entertainment over professional wrestling. One of those reasons is that the company can book controversial segments and get away with it. WWE on several different occasions has brought up religion in its storylines, and it hasn't always ended up in the company's favor. This is where Stone Cold Steve Austin and The Undertaker enter the fray. Two of the greatest superstars ever have had careers full of memorable moments. However, not all of those moments are memorable for the right reasons. The Undertaker and Stone Cold had an incredible feud back in 1998. The segments they had were must-see, but one of those segments ended up putting the entire company in a bad position. On an episode of Raw in 1998, The Undertaker, with the help of his druids, chained Stone Cold to a crucifix-like logo, and it was apparent that Stone Cold was being crucified. The segment did help increase the viewership, and that's understandable considering both Stone Cold and The Undertaker were in their prime. Despite it fitting The Undertaker's gimmick, this segment was inappropriate because religion was a sensitive subject matter back then, and it still is now. Considering the shows we are getting, Triple H doesn't plan on booking a crucifixion anytime soon. Val Venus, where is your penis? Yes, you heard that right, guys. There was a castration segment that took place during the Attitude Era. That era is full of memorable segments, but this one might take the cake. Val Venis might not be remembered as one of the top guys of his time. He was mostly presented as a superstar who had a gimmick of an adult movie star. To this day, I still wonder who from the creative team came up with this brilliant gimmick. Val Venis was involved in one of the worst feuds ever with a stable called Kai and Tai in 1998. Long story short, Val Venis was seen as having an affair with the wife of the stable's manager, Yamaguchi-san. For weeks, the stable went after Val Venis, and Val, luckily, always came out on top. That ended when the stable had enough and abducted Val in an episode of Raw. They brought Val backstage and tied him up. The group went the extra mile and castrated Val with a sword. Yes, with a sword. We would find out the following week that Val got lucky and was saved from this monstrosity. While this may sound funny, and is one of the many reasons why the Attitude Era was watched by millions every week, this would never happen in today's weekly television. I'm confident you already know the reason why.
Have a message! Jumpy, beep, beep!
The Godfather gimmick. Let's just forget about moments for a little bit. How about an entire gimmick that would never work in today's era? The Godfather was a superstar who was surrounded by several prostitutes. The list keeps on getting crazier, am I right? The gimmick was quite simple. The Godfather would offer his opponents to prostitutes if they would forfeit the match to him. Now, what do you guys think? Did the Godfather's opponents forfeit the matches for a night with these prostitutes? Or did they end up having a long, grueling match with him? Of course they forfeited the matches. This gimmick was extremely popular with the WWE fanbase back in the day, and the crowd loved every minute of the segments the Godfather was in. A gimmick like this would have only worked during the Attitude Era, and if WWE tries to replicate something like this in the present, their TV rights would be in massive jeopardy. Mae Young gives birth to a hand? Mae Young has been a part of a few strange segments that we unfortunately can't erase from our minds. This one is a great example. During early 2000, Mae Young was in the storyline that saw her in a relationship with Mark Henry, and during this storyline, Mae revealed to the entire world that she was pregnant? A storyline revolving around the pregnancy of a woman in her late 70s was a bit too much, even for the Attitude Era. What's even more unsettling is that after she announced her pregnancy, the Dudley Boys attacked an old Mae on several different occasions. The Dudley Boys even powerbombed the poor woman through tables too. Not going well for the supposed pregnant Mae Young. When Mae went into labor, she gave birth to a giant rubber hand. After all those weeks of terrible creative booking, she delivered a giant rubber hand? Can you even imagine something like this? I have yet to find out what Vince was drinking when he came up with this bizarre idea. It's no secret that Vince, for the better part of his career, cared more about generating those sweet dollar bills and putting WCW out of business rather than putting on excellent television. His bizarre booking did bring in a lot of viewers, but it came at the expense of our intelligence and conscience, and those who may have just wanted to see great wrestling for 2 hours. Some people might be thinking, thank God for Triple H, as we would be getting quality shows for the foreseeable future, and not a 70-year-old woman giving birth to a gigantic latex hand. What's the most awkward or intriguing TV-14 moment you've seen in WWE? Let us know in the comments below, and if you enjoyed today's video, make sure to subscribe for more.